Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I hope all of you are doing well and doing great. Let me introduce myself. My name is Deepak. I have 15 plus years of experience in this industry, and I have designed and deployed solutions for various organizations, for various cloud providers, and I have certain patents on my name. So in this today's webinar, we are going to learn about GCP, what GCP is, Terraform, and the key concepts behind it. So let's get started here. This is the agenda for today, guys. Today we are going to talk about what is GCP, why we use Terraform, what exactly is Terraform, the tools that Terraform support, and the tools that you can use it for the integration. So let's get started. Let's basically talk about what exactly is GCP. Before we talk about GCP, before we jump on, this is like that. Before we are talking about how to form any sentence in the English language, let's understand what exactly English language is. So let's deep dive in more detail here, guys. So what exactly is cloud computing? Before that, let's understand what exactly is cloud, how basically cloud got evolved. So I'm going to explain you with the help of two use cases, guys, right now. If you will be able to understand these two use cases, if you talk about any of the cloud, GCP, Azure, AWS, all have the basically the same thing. So originally, when this cloud was introduced to get rid of the problem that you face when you have to share the data between two people, two end devices. Now, for example, if I had to share the data between two computers, two end devices, how can I share? If I don't have cloud in the picture, earlier you used to have to put the data in some external drive, like a floppy disk or the pen drive, and you have to share that pen drive to other person. It sounds easy, right? Or maybe I can have a LAN connectivity, I can connect two LAN cables between two computer, I can share it out. But it sounds easy, but not that easy. Because think about it, it's easy if you are sitting in the same room. But what if I am into like we are both are in different cities actually, or maybe we are in same city but we are very far with each other, or maybe we are in different countries. So if I have to send some data to you, I'm putting in a floppy disk drive, I'm going to send it through courier, so I have to, maybe it's going to take like 10-15 days, and you need that data at that moment only. Are you going to wait for 10-15 minutes? It's going to be a lot of hassle, right? So that problem got resolved with the help of cloud. What it says is you can upload the data on the cloud. There are various cloud provider, and you can access the data anytime, anywhere. So that's basically is the benefit of the cloud basically that you have. Now we basically, when this thing was introduced, we got a greater response from the market. And it's like that, whenever we get a good response, a good number of feedback, we always think that how we can basically improve more, how basically we can try to make our things more stable, how other people can take benefit of it. Then we realize that okay, cloud is the good, we can store the data, people can access it online. But one of the biggest problem was that if I have to share the same file to other person, that can be shared. But the thing is that if I'm making any update, how that person is going to be aware that I made the update? Or if there are multiple people who are working on the same file, how they can work on the same file? By maintaining multiple copies. It's again sounds easy, but what if I have, let's say, 100 people, 200 people? Maintaining 200 copies is going to be a big nightmare for you, right? So that thing can be easily avoided by the new change which was in the cloud, the new stuff which basically came out in the cloud, which basically made a boom in the entire industry. Basically, you can upload the file on the cloud and you can have read and write access with all the users in real time. For example, SharePoint is one of the live example. I can upload my Excel sheet, and let's say if anyone is working on an Excel sheet, the row is going to be highlighted. This guy is working on this guy is working on this. You're going to be aware, and it's going to be easy for you. And because the thing was that, let's say I will explain you with the help of one use case. Let's say there is a company who basically deal in the sales. That company have different branches all over the globe now, and there are two sales people who are working for the same client in different country. Like there is a company who has a branch in India and a branch in the US. In India, they operate with the same name, ABC, and in the US also they operate with the same name, let's say ABC. So in both the companies basically are working with same name. What happened is like the person who basically has made the sale in India has let's say updated the Excel sheet. Now the person who has basically made the sale in US has updated the Excel sheet. Now in the US he was not aware that he has updated the Excel sheet. So he thought that how this data got overwritten. So he's going to overwrite the data. In order to avoid this kind of problem, you can just use basically the use of SharePoint. This kind of problem can be basically overridden. So you can have like you can basically leverage SharePoint for that. In the case of SharePoint, you can just upload the data and all the people can read and access the data in the real time. So without having any kind of hassle, wherein like who is updating which kind of file or maintaining multiple copies, you can just have only single copy, which is going to be accessible by other people. Now, after this, we realize that what kind of more changes we can do, which can basically benefit the people. Now, this is something which is very important. If you are able to understand this thing, this is the way we are going and evolving more. You are going to get a good clarity. Let me tell you the two problem statement, and now how in this today's world, the today's evolution of the cloud has helped in resolving the thing. Let me tell you the first problem statement. Let's say there is a user who was working in a company. He decided to leave his own company to build his own startup because he was a developer. So what he did, he opened his own company, he opened his own startup, and he hired 10 people. Since he opened the startup for the very first time with his some saving, so he thought to save some money. So what he did, just to save some money, and he don't have that much budget, he purchased 10 low configuration laptop for the 10 employees that he has hired. Now, all these 10 employees are going to have a laptop that he has shared. Let's say the laptop that he purchased was of 2 GB of RAM, and let's say 200 GB of hard drive. So now, the processor was, let's say it was dual core, or maybe, core to dual processor. Now, and again, the Windows was Windows 7. Now, this guy got a project for his organization wherein they have to develop a software, and the cost of that software, like that, he's going to get is $20,000. When they started working on it, they realized that this software can be built on heavy softwares, and he don't have those softwares. For example, they have to build on Visual Studio. It requires like huge amount of RAM and the hard drive, so he don't have that much sufficient hard drive. Even the version of Visual Studio on which they have to develop the latest version, it's not compatible with the legacy operating system like Windows 7. It's compatible with Windows 10 only. Now, in order to get this product delivered, what he has to do, he has to purchase a new laptops. He has to purchase new laptop, configure the Windows, configure the software. It's going to take a huge amount of time because he has to, place the order. It's going to be delivered to his, let's say, office, and at the same time, maybe he has to hire any kind of maybe a technician or something, a person who can basically help in assembling certain things out. So it's going to be a wastage of time and the money. And he realized that even though it's going to be wastage of time and money, the initial investment that he has to make in this entire platform is of, let's say, $15,000. And after that, again, for the maintenance, he has to pay again $10,000. So in total, he has to pay basically 10, 15, $25,000. So he was getting the profit of $20,000, and he has to make an investment of $25,000. Not a good deal for him, right? So at the same time, now he's going to go back to the client and he cannot do. It's going to be again a bad reputation for him. That's the first problem. Let's say there is again another problem statement wherein a user, a person who works in an organization, they don't have that much budget constraint like the first one you have. They have enough budget. It's a very big organization. They have given, let's say, a laptop of Windows 10 operating system with 1 TB of hard drives, 8 GB of RAM. Now, this guy works as a solution architect. He has to design the solution for the organization and to give them a demonstration. Now, while designing the solution for the customer, he realized that he needs a couple of operating. Maybe he need two servers, two Windows Server 2016, two Windows Server 2019, two Linux-based system, and a client-based system. So in total, he need 7 operating system. So even though he can build virtual machine on his laptop, he has a limited capability. He can build only 2, 4, hardly, not more than 4, if he has to run all the 4 virtual machine in parallel. Now, either he has to get new laptops or he has to get external hard drive. In either of the case, he has a huge dependency on the hardware. Now, let's say he lost his hard drive while he was traveling. I mean, he worked day and night for 3 months, and he was traveling. While he was traveling, he lost his hard drive, maybe during the airport check-in or check-out, or he lost his laptop. Now, he reached to a customer side. He was not able to present the solution. He was not able to showcase the demonstration because he lost his drives, and the entire virtual machine data was into there. Now, again, a biggest problem, right? Now, how these both problems can be solved? These both problems can be solved with the help of cloud. In the first use case, wherein the guy who will need the new operating system, new laptop for a certain amount of time, what we can do is we can spin up the virtual machine, 10 virtual machine on the cloud. Let's say I can spin up 10 virtual machine of Windows 10 on the cloud with the configuration, hard drive, RAM I want, and it's like a pay-as-you-go service. Whatever I'm going to consume, I'm going to pay for that, like a unit of electricity. Whatever you consume, you pay for that. Similar kind of thing, the same concept you have in the cloud itself. So basically, you can spin up the VM on the cloud, and I can download the RDP file, which is a remote desktop file. Now, instead of wasting the time, instead of wasting the money, I can just take this VMs on the lease for 6 months or so, and I can give it to my employees and they can work on it. Now I realize that I just have to make an investment of $5,000 hardly for the 6 months. It's an immense savings for me because earlier I was supposed to spend $25,000 for the project of 20,000. Now I have wherein I was not getting any profit. Now I have to spend only $5,000 for a $20,000 project wherein I'm going to get a savings of $15,000. So I just have to make an investment of 25%, rest 75% is my profit. Plus, at the same time, now you know that whenever you install any operating system, it's a client-side operating system like Windows 7, Windows 10, any of the client-side OS, or the server side, Windows Server 2016, 12, 19, it takes at least 40 to 45 minutes to configure the VM, right? On the cloud, now you have multiple resources at the back end, it takes very less time. So your entire resources can be created in less than 5 minutes. So that's one of the immense benefit that you basically get with the cloud provider. So basically, you just have to wait for like a certain amount of like time, which is normal, like less than 5 minutes, and your VM is going to be created. That's the beauty of cloud. In the second use case where the guy was traveling, he lost his hard drive. In that case, he just have to bring the virtual machine up on the cloud itself. On the cloud only, you can create the entire environment. So even though he lost his laptop, hard drive, everything, he can just go to the office environment, their office environment. He can ask for a desktop or a laptop. He can log in from his account and he can showcase the demo. Now, having a need of bulk hardware with having no need of anything, basically, made a big boom in the industry. And that's a way we are currently here. That's a way cloud computing is doing. So cloud computing basically helps you in making your environment more stable, more secure, more reliable with the minimal cost. So that exactly is a cloud computing wherein you can access your data from anytime, everywhere. So these are a couple of the benefits of the cloud computing that you have. It's an on-demand self-service, which means that whenever you need, you can spin up the resources and you can use it out without having any kind of human intervention from the vendor side. Second is broad network access. You will be able to access it every time, everywhere if you have the network connectivity. So you just need an internet connection and you will be able to access the entire environment every time. Along with that, you are going to have a resource pooling. So for example, you want to increase the resources, you want to decrease the resources, you will be able to increase or decrease the resources all the time without any kind of any kind of intervention. Like you don't have to have an intervention of Azure, so or AWS or GCP, any other cloud vendor of whose platform you are using. You can scale up or scale down the resources as per your requirement. Next one is a rapid elasticity, which again means that you can increase the resources. Like for example, I have configured the virtual machine, web applications, anything. So I can just increase the resources without having any kind of hassle. It's not like that once I've configured the resources, I cannot make the changes. You can again make the changes out. It's a major service, which basically means that whatever you are using, it's going to be transparent. You will be able to see that what all services that you have used and what was the duration of all the services. And last one is a on-demand self-service, like we already discussed. It's available whenever you need, whenever you want, 24/7. You can just go to that vendor platform and you can use it out. Clear? So I hope that you got a fair understanding about what is cloud computing. Or if you never heard about virtual machine, what exactly virtual machine is? Virtual machine is an emulation of your computer. So now come to our actual topic, basically, which is the GCP. So I hope that the building block foundation of the GCP, which is what is cloud and cloud computing, it's clear with all of you. Okay, now let's talk about what is GCP. So GCP basically stands for Google Cloud Platform. So that basically is the GCP. So basically this is the cloud platform which is being provided by the Google. Like Microsoft has their own cloud platform which is known as Azure. Your Amazon has their own cloud platform which is known as AWS. Likewise, Google has provided their own cloud platform for the people to use, which is known as GCP. So GCP is a service, like I said, which is offered by the Google. So basically, it's a suite of cloud computing service which run on the same infrastructure that Google uses internally. It's not like that Google is providing you a different infrastructure. So it's basically the same infra on that Google is going to use internally. Now they're going to give it to you to run your entire software. One of the biggest benefit is that since this is the same infrastructure, so you want to integrate with different Google product, different Google end user products like Google Search, Google mail services, Gmail, file storage, YouTube, you can perform a direct integration with that very easily. Clear? Now, why Terraform? Before you understand what exactly is Terraform, why Terraform? Like why we use Terraform? There are a couple of advantages of Terraform. So basically, this is speedy, which basically provides you speedy operation, wherein your operations can be executed at a very faster rate. Along with that, it's a very sophisticated tool, so you can just make the changes as the way you want, and with the help of which you can just manage your entire infra. It being an open source, you can make the changes as the way that you want. So these are a couple of benefits that we use Terraform. But what exactly is Terraform? Let's talk about it. So, like I said, Terraform basically is an open source tool which basically helps you to provision Google Cloud resources with declarative configuration file. So, for example, when I say declarative configuration file, it's like your virtual machines, containers, storage, networking. You basically can provision all these things easily with one tool with under one umbrella, which is basically is your Terraform. Now, what are different tools that we basically use for Terraform with GCP? If we talk about, so there are various tools. Like widely used tool is basically CFT, which is known as Cloud Foundation Toolkit. So it basically provides you various benefits like in this you basically have ready-made templates. What template is basically, so these are basically pre-configured. So in that existing template, if you want to use the same one, you can, or you want to define your own functionality, you will have that advantage. You can define that your own functionality in those template. Along with that, it's basically you can create your enterprise very easily. You basically can save time and resources with any of the existing template. You can just do the integration. You can just make more enhancement in a template. You can even combine multiple templates to all together to build a unique template for you. Along with that, you can reuse the cloud foundation toolkit that you have used for testing platform in your production. So if you have two different tenants, you can reuse those configuration between two tenants in each other. So you can download that configuration and you can apply that into your other environment. So it basically supports that benefit as well, because we don't go live directly. We just make the testing, then we go live. So it basically supports both the thing that we can have a testing and then we basically make the production one. So it basically supports the same thing, that whatever the kind of effort you have made in a test platform, you can make in the production one as well. Other tool which is one of the widely used tool is TV, which is known as Terraform Validator. So in this case, basically provides you a various benefit. So you can leverage Terraform Validator to enforce policies on Terraform configuration for Google Cloud. Because like I can create certain policies using in Terraform, but I want a way or tool through which I can just directly push all the policies. Now, if you work on Active Directory, which is a Windows proprietary, Microsoft proprietary, I mean, you can apply the group policies. That group policies can be applied to all the computers which are part of that domain. Likewise, in the case of Terraform Validator, whatever the policies that you're going to write, Terraform Validator will help you to enforce policies on Terraform configuration for the Google Cloud. So Terraform Validator majorly relies on the policies which are compatible with the config validator. So with the help, basically in this, with the help of this, you can define the constraint. You can run it from everywhere. You can create a centralized source for the editing. So it basically supports all that kind of thing. You have basically having this YAML file. So with the help of that YAML configuration file, you can just make entire changes. Next one basically is a Terraformer. So with the help of Terraformer, it's also known as Google Cloud Platform sometimes. So this is a CLI tool, which is a command line interface tool to generate Terraform file from the existing infrastructure. So wherein you can just have the existing platform, wherein you can just leverage it for infrastructure as a code service and at various things. So you can basically generate your JSON file or TF state file based on your existing infrastructure. Next one that you basically has is the Cloud Shell. So Cloud Shell is basically again another tool. It basically supports all the majorly cloud tools which are in the market. It has list of built-in tools which are pre-installed automatically and it's already up to date. So it's a environment which is ready for the developers all the time. You are going to have the full power access. Clear? Now let me show you. So this is just to give you the glimpse of the topic. We cannot dive in more detail. If you're planning to dive in more detail to learn about each and every component, feel free to enroll for the course from Edureka. So if you are planning to take the course from Edureka for this specific course GCP, this is going to be your entire journey. So we are going to start with a Google Cloud Platform. We are going to talk about in our course what exactly is GCP. In total, basically, it's divided into 10 modules. So for after every module, you are going to have the practicals that we basically provide. So you are going to have GCP platform, wherein you're going to learn in the first class what GCP platform is, different components, integrations, everything, and the hands-on on it. After that, you are going to learn how to manage GCP, and the hands-on on it. After that, you're going to learn about Google Cloud Platform, virtual networks, like how you basically even create your own customized network. What are the different options through which you can create a customized network? All that kind of things you're going to learn in this case. After that, you're going to have the hands-on on the same thing that you learned, and then you're going to learn about security and identity fundamentals. So basically, how you can apply different security policies, how you can basically create different configurations on that. So you're going to basically learn entire those things, like what kind of configuration you can do, what kind of policies you can apply. So all those kind of things basically are you are going to learn in detail here, and the hands-on. Even in this, you're also going to learn identity access management, IAM. So how you can have identity access management, and what are the different ways through which you can achieve IAM using Google. Then you're going to learn compute service. So what are the different compute service that it provides, different kind of virtual machine that you can create, and all those kind of stuff, and the practical hands-on of it. In the next class, which is the sixth class, you're going to learn about data storage services, how basically you can store the data, what are different services which is basically being provided by data store, and the hands-on on it. Then you're going to learn about Kubernetes. So you're going to learn about microservices, the Docker, the Kubernetes, and the hands-on on it. And then you are going to learn in the eighth class about application development. So if you like to develop something, how you can develop the applications, everything that you're going to learn in this case. What are different ways of developing an application? What are ways through which you can perform the integration of your application with your Google Cloud Platform? Let's say you already have existing application, how you can basically perform direct integration with that, and the hands-on on it. And then you're going to learn about big data and AI services. So what exactly is big data, what is artificial intelligence, how you can basically have integration with that, what kind of integration that it supports, and the hands-on on it. And then you're going to learn about automation. So what basically, how basically you can automate the things. And for example, I don't want to use zero-day things, I want to perform automation with different component, different tools. How I can do that, because there are various ways of doing automation, as you know. So how all those kind of automation basically can be done, and the hands-on on it. Then you're going to become at the end a superhero like this, who is going to have a cape at the back like this guy. Just kidding. And you are going to be the super professional. So this is going to be the entire the course which is basically being designed, and that's the way you're going to learn it. And like I said, any point of time you face any problem, you have any kind of doubt, any questions, any concern, you can reach out to us, and we are going to be more than happy to help you regarding the certification training course that basically we provide. So Terraform support for GCP. So the Terraform support for GCP talk about. So the Terraform provider for Google Cloud is jointly developed by 𝐏शी𝑘𝐽 and Google. So it's a jointly venture which is jointly supported by 𝐏ရှိ𝑘𝐽 and Google. 𝐏ရှိ𝑘𝐽 is basically measured to the key vault, the vault industry, wherein you can store your secrets, sensitive materials, and all those kind of things. So with the help of Terraform, and the Google integration, this is a joint venture that they have basically developed by 𝐏ရှိ𝑘𝐽, and Google has jointly developed Terraform, which is basically used. So for provider related issues, like for if you have any kind of issues, because like I said, this is not a thing which is owned by Google, or this is not a thing which is owned by 𝐏ရှိ𝑘𝐽. So this is basically jointly developed by 𝐏ရှိ𝑘𝐽 and Google. So if you have any problem, any issues related to the provider, you have to raise an issue with the GitHub. If you have any questions about Terraform, you have to check up the 𝐿 community portal. So for general troubleshooting advice, you have to see Terraform debugging documentation. And also you can join the Google Cloud Community Stack for Terraform channel. So that was all about it, guys. Thank you for joining this today's webinar.